going to take one sheet of paper and turn it into a small book with 8 pages, counting the front and back of each sheet here. That gives us 8 pages. But this entire booklet is made from one sheet of paper that we have just folded and cut in the center. And I'm going to walk you through all the steps you need to know in order to make this book. This is a fun little tool you can have for making books or cards or even fun pictures. So let's get started. One thing I want to have with me when I'm folding paper is any kind of a plastic marker or other tool that's clean that I can use for rubbing. I'm not going to write with it, but I'm going to be rubbing on the side of it to help me with my folding. We're going to start with our paper going up and down like a door. This is called portrait. And the first fold we're going to do is known as a hot dog, where we fold our paper along the long side, making it skinny like a hot dog bun. Now don't smush your paper as you're folding until you have everything lined up each time. Check your corners to make sure they're matching. Check your edges to make sure they're straight. Use both your hands and always work on a table. Working on the table is like having 2 extra hands. When you're ready to fold, start your fold by creasing it in the middle and then slowly working your way to the edges in opposite directions. This controls the fold so that once you have everything lined it up and you've held it down, everything's going to stay in place if you press the middle first. Here's where I'm going to use my plastic tool. I'm going to give it a rub to make that crease a little sharper. Now I'm going to open the hot dog and I'm going to press it flat, and I'm going to be folding it in the opposite direction. So now I'm going to put my thumbs underneath it at the bottom and all the rest of my fingers on the top. And again, I'm pushing down on my table as I do this. I'm going to roll the paper upward. And again, I'm going to make sure my corners match. Once we have put a fold like this in the paper, it might start to resist us and get stuck. So you want to make sure you're using both your hands. Again, check your edges and your corners before you do any creasing. Hold it down, pressing against the table. And now I'm going to come through here and press down on the center of my paper. And that's going to hold everything in place. I'm going to slowly go out to the sides. When you go quickly, it might cause the paper to jump and twist and get crooked as you're folding. I'm going to grab my tool, rub my fold down again, and now we're going to open it all the way again. Now we've got 4 rectangles here. Looks like a window. We have 2 more folds to do. It's the same one 2 times, and we're going to be folding the bottom half of the paper to this middle line. Again, on the table, all our fingers. Thumbs underneath, fingers on top. We're going to flip the bottom half till it meets the middle. Now you want to get it lined up right at or under this line. Don't cross over the line. If you cross over the line, this can give you problems when you start to fold everything together. And notice I'm pressing down. I'm just sort of walking my fingers over here to the middle, and then I'm going to hold it and press the middle. And again, same thing, going out slowly to both sides. Okay, use my tool to crease it. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing to that half, so I'm just going to spin it upside down so I can repeat the same motion. So the folded bit is at the top. This part is going to meet this part. Now notice that's jumping up off the table because it's folded. So I want to make sure that it's meeting when it's flat. Again, start by rolling, not by smushing your paper. And I'm going to line up. I've got all these extra lines to help me get it straight and centered. I'm going to wait till they touch. And now I'm also going to double check my edges here. I'm not going to assume that it's right just because it's touching there. I'm going to check all my sides, hold it down with one hand, press the middle with the other, and then both hands can slowly go out from the center again. And we're going to crease with our tool. Now we're going to unfold all of this and smooth it out. We have 8 small rectangles that we can see on our folded paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we want to flip the paper over like we're turning the page in a book because we want it to stay portrait, which is up and down. So we're going to turn the page over, and we're going to use these fold lines you see here to draw a very skinny capital letter I. So we're going to come down to the first fold, right here at the middle. Where the vertical fold crosses it, we're going to draw a horizontal line on the fold, and it's only about as big as my finger or my thumb. Tiny little horizontal line. Here's a closer look at it. And it's right there on top of the fold. Now we're going to trace on the fold from that line. Stay on your fold. Go through fold number 2. Stop at fold number 3. All right, so now it looks like a skinny letter T. Notice that we don't have any marks at the top, and we're not going to put any marks down here in the bottom section. Now we're going to turn it into a capital letter I, so if that's the hat, we need to put on shoes. So let's put the bottom on the capital letter I. And there you see a very tall, thin capital letter I. All right, we're done with our pencil. And we're going to hot dog fold our paper again. So put your fingers underneath it and just kind of pop it up in the middle there where that long fold is. And press it flat. We need our scissors now. We're going to be cutting this little mark we've made at the top and bottom for the letter I with our scissors, and we're going to snip through both layers of the paper here on the fold. So just cut the mark you made. Don't go any further than that. When you've cut it, you've got this little slice. Do that to both marks. When you've cut those marks, open your paper and lay it flat on the table so you can see the letter I again. You have a small hole at the top and you have a small hole at the bottom. It's okay if your finger doesn't fit in there, and be careful not to tear it if you do test it out. That hole is actually for the tip of your scissors. We're going to go from the bottom hole to the top hole and stop, cutting along the body of the letter I. So I'm going to stick my scissor tip in there, and I'm going to cut right along that folded line, stopping as soon as I get to the top, and that's it. I don't need my scissors anymore. All right, now we're ready to fold it into a book, and I'm going to show you the finished book again. So our finished book is going to have all these pages without doing any more cutting or any gluing. All right, so I'll show you from this one. I'm going to undo this one. What's going to happen? There's that hole that we just made. It's going to be in the top of our book. See that? I'm going to show you how to fold it together so that it works like this. What we want to do is pop up our hot dog again so it's like a long tunnel going to and from our body. Now this line in the middle on the right and this line in the middle on the left need to pop out. So I'm going to use both hands on each side, one side at a time, to really make that pointy. So I'm going to squish this fold a little bit more because I really want that point to go out to the sides. And I'm going to use both hands on the right side to do that. Give it a squeeze, go up and down the fold so it really just sticks out easily. All right, you might have to scooch it back up because it doesn't want to stay standing. Now I'm going to gently put my thumbs inside the hole and just pull it apart. Use my fingers too. And we want it to start to look like a diamond. Okay, so when you've got the diamond shape, you're going to pinch the ends of it here at the top. I'm lifting it off to show you what's going on, but you should continue to keep it on the table. Now, some of you might be having this happen right now. You might be having a little skirt or a kink poking out like that down there. If this is not folded all the way down and poking out, then go ahead and stop. Put your hand inside and make that stick out. All right, that's very important. So if the sides are bent like this, you need to get underneath it and pop it out. Give it a pinch so it stays. All right, back to where we were. Fingers are at the top of this diamond shape, and we're just pinching the arms of it here. So we're going to pinch the ends here, and we're going to make our fingers move toward each other like we're squeezing a Ziploc bag shut. So I'm going to pinch, and it's like it's eating the paper. Pinch, getting closer, and pinch. Don't make those fingers go boop like that to close the hole. Okay, you're pinching the hole shut. Pinch the hole shut till you get your fingers all the way in the middle. I want to show you that one more time. So back to where I was. Whoop! All right, we've got the two corners. Fingers are at the top. And I'm going to close up the diamond by crawling toward each other. Boop, 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 boop. It's like they're going to give each other a kiss right there in the middle. Mwah. All right, so it's pinched shut like a Ziploc bag. And I'm going to move my fingers so you can see. Use my long fingers to hold it shut. All right, you can see that it makes a plus or an X. Now you really have the form of a book ready to go. Keep your fingers near the middle here. All right. So now what we're going to do is I want you to pretend it's like a snowman that you're knocking over onto the ground. Keep your fingers here at the top and push it down onto the table. So we're pushing it down onto the table. Now you're letting the table help you. It is folding those pages on the back. You can probably see how it's forming a book right now. Now we're going to change the position of our hands. We're going to make flat mitten hands like this. Our thumbs are in, our fingers are up. Now scoot your hand toward the folded crease of the book here. All right, you can even take your thumb and run it down that crease, but just rest your hand really close to that crease and take your other hand, and we're going to just start to close the page of the book over our hand. Well, we need our hand back, so let's slide it out of there and get it straightened up. Straighten up your pages. Sometimes they'll be a little crooked here. Go ahead and use your hands to straighten it up. You can see the shape of the book taking form. Now put one hand on the right side again. Get your thumb close to the crease here so that it doesn't pass your hand. And then bring this last hand all the way down to the table and close the book. Now hold your hand on it for just a moment so it doesn't pop up. Grab that plastic tool you have nearby, marker, whatever you have that's clean on the side, and rub nice and hard here on the spine of your book. Remember, the spine is the thing that holds the book together, just like you have a spine going up and down your back. All right, and now you have a folded book. Now, there's lots of different things you can do with this. Obviously, you can write a book, you can illustrate a book, you can draw a series of pictures of one thing that you love or many things that you love. It could be a mini sketchbook. You could use it as a card for somebody. You can also make one big picture and have some fun with that. So if you unfold the whole thing again, you can make one giant picture this direction or this direction. And we'll notice right away that this looks like a mouth. Right? It's kind of like a puppet too. So if you wanted to, you could create a great big face and use that as a mouth, or you could come up with another reason for there to be a hole in the middle of your picture, or just make a great picture that you love. And then fold it back into position. It's going to snap together pretty easily once you have folded it and creased it using one of your tools. And then you can play a guessing game with somebody. Ask them to guess what that's a picture of. And keep turning the pages until either they guess and you show them, or they don't guess and you still show them. You open it up and have some fun showing off your little magic 8-page book.